We finally made it to the last video in the Ascendant Overlay series. Today we're talking about Ascendant in the 8th house, and the OGs know that I'm an 8th house stellium, so anything 8th house I feel like I know best. This is the house that I am master of because I've had the most lessons in this house. So I'm excited to talk about this one today. It's a lot and it's a little bit complicated, but I'm gonna try my best to break it down for y'all, okay? Because that's what we do here. That's what we do here. We break down synastry. I give you the synastry tea. You pull up your crush's charts, sometimes your family and your friends' charts too, and then we discuss it in the comments later, okay? So make sure to note all your questions. I will try to get to them and answer them the best way I know how in the comments. Ascendant in the 8th house, synastry overlay. These people are emotional powder kegs. Both ascendant and a house person, the stuff that gets brought up in this relationship causes both of y'all to be very reactionary. Your connection is that spark that starts the fire within both of you. It's a little poetry for you. It's a little poetry, okay? But yeah, you guys are just very emotionally provoking. But let's back it up. Let's back it up. How you get there? Okay, when you meet this person, you immediately want to like size them up. You don't know what it is exactly. Something about this person just shakes you up, shakes you to your core. But it's not that you see them as a threat, and it's not that you're like drawn to them. Like, at least not in the beginning, right? That like obsession feeling will come later down the line. But initially, I feel like the reason you want to size up this person, the reason something about them like unsettles you, is that they're blurry to you. They're this blank slate, just very much, I don't know what to make of you. I feel like as humans, we are very attached to our labels. You know, it's how we identify. And throughout all our interactions, it's like our brains have become very adept at recognizing certain key traits, character traits within each of us. From just a glance, your brain is like assessing how this person looks, how they walk, how they talk, how they act, and we process that information. And then there's the invisible information, that invisible material, that aura, that energy that we're met with, that our intuition is also deciphering. And so it's like in 0.2 seconds, we usually come up with a certain judgment of another person. We put them in a box, we label them, and then it's as we get to know them that initial picture that we drew of them changes. All right, follow me. That's like the normal scenario when you meet someone, when you see someone for the first time. But with ascendant in the 8th house synastry overlay, when you see this person, no information readily comes up. And this is what makes you want to look twice at them. This is what I mean by like they're blurry. Even if you know already like certain facts about them, like who their family is, what job they work at, you just can't get a read on them. Like you have to look at them longer than how long it would be for you to assess someone else on average. And even if you may know like facts about them, like even their age or like background or whatever, it's even still like those facts don't really fit. This person is just a mystery, an enigma. It's a type of energy that you've never run upon before. So yeah, I don't want to necessarily say like you're fascinated with it or that you think it's dangerous, or you know, like this is like this neutral feeling, just a very like gotta do a double take type of feeling, like because you can't really make any assumptions yet because you don't have no information. So it's just that double take. Be like, whoa, what did I just see there? What did I not see there? I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I feel like this distinction is important for this overlay. But yeah, I guess it is kind of like this kind of hypnosis where it's like, okay, you have to look at them long enough until you feel like your vision has become clear of them, but it's completely conscious. Like you're using your choice and free will to take time out of your day to figure this person out, figure out why your brain or your intuition is not processing them at the speed that you would with regular people. So yeah, this is definitely happening with both the ascendant and the house person, but I feel like sometimes in a lot of cases it can be stronger for the house person. all that is going to vary. Now with ascendant in the 8th house overlay, I feel like when you meet this connection, the reason that the other person is blurry to you is because the universe is kind of sending you this connection to grow your intuition stronger. So that's one of the main things about this overlay. It's like your perception during this relationship and after this relationship, say if it dissolves, is gonna be so much sharper. Your discernment is gonna be on point. Your wisdom is greater. Like it's really a complete glow up, but it is like something that you have to get through, you know. I feel like too, when you guys meet, you're both under this impression that like you can walk away anytime. You're just choosing to be here. You're just choosing to use this person to kind of pass the time. You're not thinking it's gonna be anything serious. But yeah, it gets real serious real quick, because this overlay is like, it just makes a huge impact on your life over all the other ascendant overlays. Your life after meeting this person completely changes your trajectory on where you thought it was heading before. So yeah, as you're hanging around them, you learn more about them, of course. You start to get that first piece of clarity. This is like a 2-step process, right? So your first piece of clarity is like, you kind of start to feel like this person is your hero. You feel like you lucked out, you found a diamond in the rubble, like you hit the jackpot. And that's like just in the sense of you found someone that is perfect for where you are in life right now. Like you kind of feel like you found an exact match to you. Not exactly in behavior, you guys could be very different people, or even in the things that you like you could have very different interests. But I suppose it's more of on an emotional level that you feel like, yes, this is exactly the type of person, exactly the type of character I needed to help me in whatever emotional situation I'm in right now. And again, you're feeling this for each other. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's exactly idolization. You're not putting this other person on a pedestal. You're just thinking they match my energy, equal ground. So yeah, you are influencing each other, but it's not in like a 10th house synastry way where it's like mentor, like I'm consciously teaching you these lessons. A lot of the things that you learn from each other, you're watching the other person when the other person doesn't know that you're watching them. So they don't even know half the lessons that you've gleaned from them. They're just hearing you say like, oh my god, like you've really helped me with this, like da da da, and they're just like, okay, cool, I mean, I guess, like I don't know how, but sure. For both of you, you're just moving through life having conversations, and it's like literally each conversation is so impactful, just hits home. It's changing your reality as you're looking at it. This is a relationship where you're both very emotionally open with each other. Of course, you're having those deep conversations about your emotions. That's going to naturally occur, and you do feel like each of you is healing this deeper aspect of you that you may have kept hidden, or you may have felt shame about. There's a lot of appreciation and admiration for each other, a softness, a gentleness, just like very warm, fuzzy feelings. And then one day one day you get that second piece of clarity. Okay, again, 2-step process. First step, warm fuzzy feeling, this person's great, this person's matching my energy, they're my hero. Very unexpectedly, you get that second piece of clarity where you realize, oh my god, I have been standing a villain. It gets crazy. Okay, the switch up is real. And yes, again, this is happening for each of you. Will it happen at the same time? Kind of, yeah. It's usually around the same like 3-month window that you guys like clock certain things about each other, and you're like, oh, whoa, how did I not see this? And what it is like coming across this person, they're very two-dimensional in your eyes, where at the front is one face and the back is another face. Okay, we had to see this coming talking about 8th house synastry. We are talking about the shadow and then the side that you show everyone else. Okay, so initially you see just the front, but it's like you don't get any indication that that front is not the totality of that person's character. Like this front character is very fleshed out. You can see like they go through up and downs. They seem like a total whole human being. And then you meet the shadow, and that shadow comes out where it's like maybe that person's telling you a story about what happened at the grocery store, or they're sharing something about what happened with a friend in the past. Again, remember, you guys are always just having these deep conversations. So very inquisitive, very naturally curious about one another. It could just be that this is the first time you've seen them wear a red shirt, and then they now tell you the story of why they haven't worn red in a long time. And each of you come to a realization where it's either like you see that this person is very entitled, or you realize that they're very bitter and just kind of almost like hateful of others or of a certain demographic. And once that light bulb clicks, you start to think about every single conversation that y'all have had previously where you thought they were a good person, and you start to realize that either that entitlement or that bitterness was present in all those past conversations. This is what gets you guys to that reactionary status. This is what gets you guys to be the emotional powder kegs, because that will drive you insane. Because you're thinking, oh my god, I thought I assessed this person, I thought I analyzed them, I thought I knew them down, and you're telling me that all of these past conversations I was getting played. Like, that's almost what it feels like. It feels like you were getting played, and you are not happy about that. You're embarrassed, you're ashamed that you were associated with someone like that for so long. And what makes it worse, you were standing them. Like, you were telling everyone that could hear that this person was a good person. You were defending these person's actions towards your other loved ones. So yeah, you feel now kind of dumb, because you're just like, wait, what the hell? This person is not who I thought they were. This is the thing that we have to remember about this overlay. Even though you didn't like necessarily pedestalize that person, there was that assumption made that this person is just so good, so pure, they're not capable of making certain human mistakes. They're not capable of having a darkness to them. But everyone has a darkness to them. As human beings, we're on a very wide range, and we can go from here to here real quick. I think the issue with this overlay is that it happens so suddenly that it completely disorients you, and you immediately just kind of want to take distance from it, because you're just like, whoa, I can't believe. You would have never, it just, yeah, completely blindsides you. You would never have thought that this person had that in them, but that's a you problem. Like, you set an expectation that because this person showed you this range of them, that this was all they were capable of. The whole time, we're all human beings, and we can go to the extremes. It could come up to where maybe you guys have just had your first fights and you realize like, oh, they're spiteful. Like, you just never thought maybe that that's how they would react if you guys ever had a disagreement. And I think what blows people's minds too is that it's usually over a small thing. So it's like you're thinking, oh, this is not going to be that bad, but then it like blows up your entire perception of this person. So yeah, basically once you now get those two pieces of clarity, the relationship can become this emotional roller coaster where 1 minute you guys are good, 1 minute you guys are bad, 1 minute you guys are talking gently with each other, another minute you're like just shouting, just a lot of emotional outbursts. Because it's like, as much as you want to distance yourself from this person, sometimes it's not as quick, sometimes it's not as easy, sometimes you guys are just in too deep. It feels like you're dating two different people now. Like, they split in your mind. You have this version that you're obsessed with and you never want to leave or break up with. And then you have this other person that you're thinking you would never have any relationship with them at all, never in a million years. Like, you would never be associated with a person like that. So that split in your mind causes you both to just be kind of like unstable, emotionally unstable with each other. Because it's almost like you're trying to reconcile within yourself which one of these persons you're actually with. It's like you don't know who to believe. You don't know who's the real them. Just a lot of insecurities now start to come up about each other. Now you have the full piece of them. Now you have the whole picture, the hero side and the shadow side. And when you get that full picture, this is where that 8th house obsession really kicks in. Now I can feel like you say you're fascinated with them, you're drawn to them, you become obsessed. You become very, it can really get into stalker territory. This is like that dynamic now where you would like plant an air tag on them or something, and or you'll just like drive like miles and miles to try to catch them doing something. You become kind of obsessed with capturing that shadow side of them. The thing is with the shadow, it appears and disappears at a very rapid rate. So it's like you catch it and then it feels like in the next moment the person goes back to how they've always been. So then you start thinking, shit, am I going crazy? Did I just hear what I think I heard? And then it happens again and you're just like, wait, what? So now it's like you're playing whack-a-mole with a person. But yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those overlays where it's like to your face, they might be like saying good things about you, and then behind your back, they're telling people like you are batshit crazy, like you're weird, like da da da. Now you don't know which side of them to vouch for. A lot of times too, what can happen is like, even though you're fighting with each other and having these emotional outbursts, and like for the most part, I mean, it's gonna depend on your chart too, but for the most part you are addressing with each other like, oh, I didn't like that you said that, like that sounds like you're bitter, da da da. Once you resolve it, each of you are kind of thinking like, okay, that person in my couple is going back to thinking about me how they were before. Like they know my character, they think I'm a good person, but whole time the other person, it's like they forgive but they never forget. You're just not thinking that the other person is gonna see that more like, I guess, bitter or extreme emotional side of you and run with it and make it like you're two different people, but they are. But yeah, it just brings up these weird situations that now you're hearing from other people that they're shit talking you, and like, it's a whole thing. I feel like with this overlay, this is one where it's like for a while you do fight for each other, but it gets to a point where either you just have to go cold turkey and just completely cut them off, ice them out, forget that you ever knew them and move on with your life, or you have to find some way to re-merge these split people that you're seeing back into one person. Like you have to really find some way to realize that the problem you're seeing with this person is really that you are trying to box them into one range, and you need to find a way to accept that they have a wider range, that they're human, that they can also say incorrect things, act incorrectly, like. But then sometimes, depending on what happens between y'all's fights and stuff, the acts that they commit during that time towards you, whether it's like literally physically or just how they spoke about you, then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I could accept certain things up to a certain point, but even now that I'm thinking of the acceptance space, it's gone too far. So you gotta know where your line is, where you're gonna draw the line on who you want to be in a relationship with. Because it's like, okay, maybe you don't like that that person talks shit, whether about you or somebody else, and that could be your line, or your line could be physical abuse. Sorry to say. The quicker you figure out where your line is too, the quicker you can like get to some level of peace in this relationship, because you can get stuck if you continue to like battle between which one is the real them, which one is the real them, instead of trying to figure out like where you stand and start looking at them as, okay, if I have to accept the good with the bad, where am I? What am I going to accept? Then you can completely lose yourself in this relationship. I think with 8th house synastry, you're always going to come to that question of what demons am I willing to walk with this person? It's that confrontation of they're ugly, but it's also a confrontation of your shadow, and you kind of have to come off of this moral high ground and see that maybe the things that you're also criticizing in someone else are things that you're capable of. So with this overlay, we're measuring where can we give grace, but it's also where do I need to walk away and kind of like save myself. But yeah, I can say I have a really close relationship with someone, non-romantic, like very platonic, where we've gone through the emotional roller coaster. I actually never thought that we would ever reconcile, but we did, and now we just have an understanding. So it's definitely possible. Don't lose hope. But this overlay, out of all of the ascendant overlays, this one is the biggest headache. I'm so sorry. We're gonna start with Mercury overlays soon. We're gonna start with Mercury in the 12th house and then Mercury in the 8th house. And then we're gonna see. So stay tuned, subscribe, put those notifications on, lock in if you want more synastry gossip. See ya.